caravan off-grid lithium power pack. Solar panels. It's confusing. Where do you start? How much do you spend? That's a good question. Do you go the whole hog, or do you do it on a budget? It's just totally up to you. Having lithium in there obviously is a lot lighter than AGMs, but a lot more costly. I've gone with Lithium Lab, which is a company in Melbourne, which have built a custom-made 560 amp hour lithium battery pack. We looked at originally putting 3 solar panels on the roof, ended up with a bit more real estate up there than we thought, so we actually put 6 up there. So I've got thereabouts about 1,000 watts of solar on the roof. I've got 560 amp hours of battery, which I've had installed over the mid of the caravan, which is over the wheel arches. And it's not the case of just running everything flat out and not watching what you're doing. You still have to manage the amount of power that you've got, the amount of solar that's coming in. The weather conditions good for me over the last couple of weeks. The weather has been shocking, so I haven't had a great deal of opportunity to run it off grid. Now I'm in South Australia at Port Hughes, which is on the York Peninsula. I'm plugged into power at the moment because it's just the convenience of that for now. I'm making my way west, and I'll be doing a lot more free camping on the way over there, so that's something that I aim to do. I've got the option. I can run the whole thing, the microwave, the TV, the aircon, all the lights. I can run that all on lithium on the off-grid setup. All the 240 plugs work off-grid. Same again though, you still have to manage that whatever you use. You just can't put everything on all at once. I've got a 3,000 watt inverter, and so far it's been great for the amount of time that I did use it. I've actually flattened it once because I wasn't watching what I was doing with it. I was parked in the shade, and I think it went down to about 11 volts, and then the thing cut out, and I'm thinking, oh god, what have I done? Once it gets down to 11 volts, the whole thing cuts off. So it's something you got to keep your eye on, especially if you've got shade over the... I thought I was getting a fair bit of solar. You have an Invicta app on the phone, which shows you the device, what's going out, what's coming in from the solar. Yeah, it's an expensive outlay for an off-grid system. You can do it on a budget. You can go and find yourself some bits and pieces and put it all together. If I'm dealing with 240 volt, I don't want to do that. I want to set it up properly and be off-grid and know that I've got safety switches and all the things that come with it. I did have a quote a while back from a South Australian company. It was going to be anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000. I think, yeah, well, I paid a fair bit for mine, so I didn't get it on the cheap. I made sure I did my homework and got it off a reputable company, and they bent over backwards. Actually, Lithium Lab in Melbourne was just amazing, and they, from the 4x4 show in Melbourne, I think it was like a week or so later, and they said, yeah, bring it in, let's install it. It was a little bit of an experiment for them as well. I think it's the first time they'd done one like this. and with 2 solar controllers on it, and all the safety measures, everything that you need to keep the thing safe, and and to run everything. As again, I'd say you still have to manage it. It's not the case of just running the thing flat out and just flattening the battery. Getting good sun, not parking in the shade, not having bad weather. I've had bad weather for like 2 weeks or more. From my first day leaving Dandenong up to Bright, I had 2 beautiful days in Bright. I was partly parked under shade, but from then on inwards, I've basically had near on 2 weeks of solid overcast days, rain, thunderstorms, you name it, I've had it. I've had the odd few days where it's been bright and sunny, but I've picked the caravan parks where I could actually plug into power just to safeguard myself. But Lithium Lab fitted it. I think they had it for like a couple of days. I picked it up on the Saturday. I took it back to Dandenong, and then on the Monday I headed out to Bright. And from then on inwards, this is my world at the moment, living in an off-grid caravan. And from Dandenong to Bright, Avoca, I've been to Mount Gambier, to the Blue Lake, been to Wrights Beach, part the way between Adelaide and Mount Gambier. I've been to Lake Albert. Storms, God, that was so wet. I couldn't. I spent 1 night there, and I was off grid. I had enough battery and everything to just run everything for the night, and then just disappeared in the morning and headed off to Brighton Beach in South Australia. I had 4 nights in Brighton Beach, and then went from there, and now I'm in Port Hughes on the York Peninsula for 4 days, and then I'm heading to Turton Beach, which is about an hour and 30 south on what they call the Foot, which is the York Peninsula in South Australia. At the moment, the weather's stunning, and there's a sunset coming, probably a killer sunset tonight, so I'll probably put that up as well. But Lithium Lab, couldn't be happier. Peter Clark, brilliant, just looked after me. If I've had any problems, I think I've only rang him once, and that was when I flattened the battery. What's going on? I flattened the battery. How did I do that? In the shade, overcast, running as much as I could. There's the lesson. So it depends on what size system that you put in your van, whether you do a custom build like I've done, or whether you do it all on a budget, put your own lithium in there and maybe your own inverter and plug into wherever. I've chose to do it probably the